How's it going, guys? I'm Sarcastic with the Hyperloops, back with your regional update for February... I don't even know what the dates are, hold on. 3rd and 4th. So sorry about the finger thing. Currently sitting in rush hour traffic as always, so everything you see in the background, for the most part, may not be me besides that random car right there that just stopped. Just, yeah, stand still. Ooh. Okay, so enough about me. Let's talk about regional stuff. So, I want to say there was about 5 of them that went down. So let's see if my memory holds true. So, if correct, there were 2 of the Rainbow Vehicles, Elite Ayla, Elite Rose, Ezra deck that won. To my understanding, one of them was Agent of Zion, and he went undefeated through the entire event, I believe. And then the other was Outrun, or Adam. I'm not going to say his last name because I don't know if he wants his name out there or not. But he won the one, I believe it was in Madison. It was either Madison or Louisville, I forget. And then the other one should have been won by Mill, if I'm not mistaken. So now, like, part of the problem is I don't remember where all the exact areas are, because I'm not great at geography. But Taxter, who is Nick Obi, and I say his entire name because people know him by now, got 2nd place playing vehicles as well. So in the finals of all 3 of those events, there were Rainbow Vehicles. So that is not really surprising, to say the least. Our group's been playing the deck for a bit, like the Discord, and so our group, I'm talking about like 130 people, not like 6. So it's been getting some play. Some people love it, some people hate it. I recently took it off of my rotation for the decks I've been playing because I got pretty mad at it. After losing some very questionable games that I feel like it weren't really up to chance, like there was just something wrong with my list. So I took it away from the rotation so that I can just get new stuff in. But apparently that was a huge mistake, and it is a great contender, as originally expected, but I'm still mad at it, so fuck that deck. Excuse me. Yeah, I swear, I know. I probably do it all the time, so not really surprised. But, so yeah, that deck runs very well. It's also, because it's a 5-die deck, oddly enough though, it's not good at winning the battlefield. Rose's die pretty much has 3 blanks as far as battlefield rolls go, so 2-1-1 and then triple blank. And then you've got Ezra, who is a 1-2-1-1 and then pretty much double blank. And then Ayla, who's 1-2-2-1 and then double blank. So essentially Stormtrooper-esque from Ayla, which is fine. Because that's the same as like Poe too, but everybody else is just like you probably get like 3-4 for your average. So kind of discussing from there. But the fact is that it has a rather large health pool at 26. You get all the best hero removal available. You don't get the supreme quote unquote blowout ones like Force Misdirection and Guard. But you do get access to easy pickings. You can run into the garbage chute. Your Vandalizes are much better because you definitely have 2 character dice you can probably throw away around to just be like, oh, nope, that Ancient's gone. Nah, screw you, bro. As well as the fact that like it's very good for killing C-3POs in the mill deck. And then it's a buttload of vehicles, and I don't know Agent of Zion's list. But the other one, you know, Rally 8 and Tech Team, you'll see the list going up. Should be getting an article from him. The article from the 4-wide vehicle deck from EAW kind of fluttered into the wind. They were supposed to be holding interviews. Stuff got pushed back several times. So, like, it's looking like that one just may never happen. But you can stay tuned. It may pop up randomly as like an add-on to something. If it's like much further out than we already are, because we're well gone with that meta, but see how that goes. So yeah, the rainbow deck pretty much crushing. Now, if you're wondering about the other decks in the top cut, there's a lot of not differences. There's a lot of variation, but Po Hondo was in kind of full swing at this event. So one of the events was somewhere between 85 to 97, and I saw a quick breakdown. I believe it was via iRebel who printed it. And she may have got it. She got it from, I think, the website and whatnot. But I believe I saw it from her post, and it was something silly like it was 17 Po Hondos and I think like 10 Kylo Talzins. They ended up taking, I believe, 4 spots of the top 8. So it was kind of a like a crazy set of numbers, because 27 out of, so we'll say like over 1/4 of the people playing were playing those 2 decks. So half of them making top cut shows that not half of them, half of the top cut being that deck shows some resiliency there, of like it running well enough. So, but like, if you really think of it, 3 out of 17 is about like 30%. And I'm not trying to remember if it was 17 or 27 for that one. I forget. But anyways, so it was about 1/6. I'm forgetting numbers already. 17% maybe, and then like 10% for Kylo FN. God, Jesus Christ, Kylo Talzin. You can see this in my mind. Kylo FN still exists. It's still there, guys. But then I think it was like 2 of the vehicle decks. I know there was like a Po Hondo, but I don't think they top cut. I think Mother 5's got another one in there. May have been the mill deck in the top 8, but I kind of forget the stuff. I know in one of the regionals, 2 of the mill deck had made top cut, and they had to play against each other. And then I believe that's the one where one of them ended up winning out. So that should be the one where Nick Ovi played against it. But so yeah, Rainbow Ayla vehicles exists. Don't have a real deck list for it. I'm gonna call it Transformers. Rainbow Transformers. It's all the vehicles, man. They just come out the cut, blow you up. But all right. So there were, I'm gonna call them 2 foreign ones, just because I'm in America. Everything to me is gonna be foreign, because that's how we think, right? So there was Canada, which I believe, I'm gonna go with, it was Ontario. Don't even know which one it was. But I believe that was won by Elite Sabine Single Die Yoda. And then I forget which country it was. It was won by Zeb Yoda. And it won another one before that. Same guy had played it, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Oh wait, no, that might have been Sabine Ezra. I know Zeb Yoda won something, but I think there was also a Sabine Ezra deck that won. We should have a couple articles coming from the patrons that won the regionals. So we'll have better feedback on that within the coming week or so. I believe I have one in an email already, that it should be the article, unless it's just questions on what to write, in which case I'm a terrible person for not looking at it yet. But so expect those, some breakdowns, some event stuff. My current thinking is that after getting lots of information from people about how they felt like the events went and whatnot, I think it would be interesting to have some kind of feedback from people playing in the larger events, just for those of you who haven't played any of the big ones yet. So like things that they took away from the event, so that you guys could potentially, you know, learn from them, as far as like the good things that they did, as well as the mistakes that they may have made. And I don't just mean like play mistakes. There's just a lot of small things, like kind of reminisce, or I don't know what I'm saying. Like the essence is essentially kind of like how we talk about, all right, you know, make sure you have waters on you, you stay hydrated, you eat okay, so that when you're going through the event, you're not sitting there like dehydrated or malnourished, and then like now your stomach's grumbling and you're hungry and you're not feeling well, you're trying to play this game and concentrate, and you know, the small mistakes, you miss something, you forget to untap your bala, and you kill a guy, which I heard happened against one of the decks and one of the top cuts. May have been versus Zion, or it may have been in Swiss, where Bala killed a character, put a bunch of damage on, let's say, like Ezra, and then forgot to, like, untap. Something I heard, anyways. No idea how true it is, but something I heard. So, yeah, just try to keep at, like, peak performance. It's really hard in big events, because, like, they're doing 8 rounds, and then assuming there's no day 2, they have a top 8 after. So assuming you're making it all the way to the finals, we're talking probably eight sets of, like, 40-minute rounds. I know they're 35, but I figure you got like 5 minutes, you know, 10 minutes in between. You gotta sit down, like, get stuff going, and then when time gets called. So if you're, especially if you're playing any of the slower decks, going to time could be very bad for you. Because the more you go to time, the worse off it is for you. With the larger health pools, or like if you're playing mill, because if you go to time, you didn't deal damage. So if they you know, got a couple damage in, like, that's it for you. So you just gotta stay to peak performance, and like, it's just over time, like, the rounds are just gonna wear down on you. So I think that would be interesting for help. So let's see. The Zeb Yoda deck that I saw, assuming it's the correct list, had ran Vibro Cutlasses and I think, like, Lone Operative and stuff like that. It seemed like a more expensive deck overall. I'm not a big fan of the bigger, expensive Zeb Yoda deck, because to me it's a much slower and more reliant on Yoda and you know, funding all the resources. But we'll definitely see how it is. There'll be somebody that, you know, takes it and either plays it or takes it and tries to make tweaks to make it better. So you'll see all sorts of stuff. But the meta, for the most part, is looking, I would call it moderately healthy. So you're always going to have essentially kind of, I'm just going to call them net deckers, but for me it's not a negative connotation. There's a lot of people that just don't have time to deck build and whatnot. They enjoy the game, they're going to a big event, they want to try to win. They'll pick up a deck that, you know, won recently, get lots of testing in if they can, and go do that. They'll, you know, occasionally make adjustments of their own, things they like, dislike, you know, just so that stuff they feel runs smoother. So it's going to happen, and you need to be aware of it. So if there's some deck that just won the prior weekend, especially since Rainbow Vehicles won 2 events, you're going to want to have reps in versus it. Like, and I'm not, like, the people that are going to copy the deck, not deck, whatever, you're going to want to have reps for the mirrors, because you're going to have to expect to see quite a bit of it. Especially since, so, like, Po Hondo was played quite a bit. It top cut good percentages, I think, of each of the tops. I want to say there was 2 minimum in each of the 2 top cuts that I was more well versed in. I'd assume there were probably 2 in the other one as well. So a lot of the time you're thinking, well, they net decked and that's why they top cut. Like, there's something else you got to keep in consideration. For someone to net deck, they'd have to actually be paying attention to the game most of the time, unless they got it from a friend. So if they're paying attention to the game, they've probably been putting in work, they've probably been getting testing, they probably have a slightly higher skill level at bare minimum. So 1 second, I got an itch. At bare minimum. So it's not just going to be as simple as, well, you net deck and that's why you won. No, they grab the deck because you need to test it. If you end up liking it and you find out it's good, maybe you switch to it. Decision is theirs. But if someone's going in and they're like, oh, I'm just going to play random jank thing from 2 months ago that I built, like, clearly they probably haven't had testing. If they've been playing it for 2 months and it's just great, then that's different. But a couple other things. We saw Tarkin 7th do relatively well this weekend. Or I don't know how well, I would say, but like there were a couple that reached top cut, whereas in prior instances they were not doing very well. And I say couple quite liberally because it may have only been one, but I believe I heard there were at least 2. So that's good. Look to see where their lists are going. There was a Rainbow 5s, like the old EAW version, and I think they didn't even make any changes to Legacies that had made top cut. So it's always swell to see that deck back up and running. I'm trying to think what else existed. There may have been another Yoda Hondo making top cut. I'm trying to think what else was in the format. Yeah, I can't think too much, but there was pretty much lots of hero, far less villain, and lots of easy pickings. And this was probably the week of Vandalize. Vandalize, very good card, very good at slowing people up, stopping them. It is not necessarily the easiest card to play, but it's amazing killing things like Force Solutions or Second Chance, especially against things, so like you're playing against Sabine or Zeb Yoda or whatever, they do whatever damage, then they throw down a Second Chance and think they're safe. And because it's several rounds in, you'll have, you know, some upgrades, so then if you Second Chance 3 of your dice, 3 of your character dice to kill it, all that those needed to be was equivalent to 5 damage, and you're probably giving up the sides that missed. So your Vandalize is trading 3 character dice and treating them like they were 5 to kill the Second Chance. When your Vandalize kills a Force Illusion, you're probably treating that character die like it was worth 3 damage. So that's pretty strong from Vandalize. So like you're gonna see the return of a lot of yellow decks. You've probably already seen them because a lot of the hero decks want to have easy pickings. Because that card is just, it's a blowout, essentially, similar to like Feel Your Anger, where your opponent rolls whatever, and now you're just like, jackpot, boom, took out both Zeb's dice, or up jackpot, took out both of Yoda or Hondo's dice, or maybe Poe rolled out and then Hondo rolled, and then now like you're showing double special, boom, easy pickings, done. Like, eating 2 dice for 1, even with that stringent requirement, is so good that it's really hard, because like, let's say a character die that has 6 different sides, you're about 2.5% to roll the same side on both dice. So realistically, it's not, 1 second, 2.5 to roll that one specific side that you wanted on both dice. So it should be about the same for each of the 6. My math here may be terrible, but I think it's 15%. It can't be 15%. Something's wrong. 1/6, so like 16% to roll one side. I guess it would make sense to roll that same side again. It would be 2.5, so it'd be the same for each of them. I just don't know how the math adds up at the end. I don't know if it's 2.5 per. Because that would say that there is 40. Yeah, no, that's right, 2.5 per. Because there's only 36 instances. So if you had the 6 sides, 2.5, so you've got 15. It's 15% to roll the same side on a character rolling out 2 dice that just have 6 different sides. Now the thing is, a lot of characters don't have 6 different sides. So like Hondo rolling out hitting double special is 11%. So 1 in 9 times is when that'll happen. And now you can take into like rerolls into account, other dice, and the percentages jump by quite a bit, because you don't even care which side that they show up. So if we have 11% on the specials for Hondo, and then we include the other 10%, we're at 21%. So 1 in 5 times that'll happen. Assuming a 3-round game, like that's pretty good odds, especially when you count rerolls, but Hondo decks tend to run fast hands, so that may not apply necessarily as true as you would expect. But yeah, so one second. Watching the road, just using the peripheral, go check. Okay. So yeah, sorry for taking down math time, but lots of easy pickings, vandalizes. So we'll definitely see what comes up in this next weekend. But expect the vehicle deck to be out and about. Poe Hondo will be there. I would expect that one of the 5-dive villain decks, whether it be the EAW version or like Mother 5s, if Rainbow Vehicles makes a big jump in usage, the 5-dive Bala deck may make a minor comeback, because that deck is pretty good there, because your damage output's really high. So even though they'll have access to the very solid removal, because of the untap, and the fact of the matter is that they have an issue doing targeted damage, they can easily do damage in general, but because a lot of it will be like the indirect, you can spread it out a bit better, and then that means that Bala's more likely to stay alive, and Bala can go and kill a guy, get the untap, potentially put another guy at half in very quick succession. So if you, let's say you're playing against it, round 1 you hit somebody for like 5, like maybe you've hit Ayla or something, then they block a little bit, so you can go into the next round, probably do like 6 killer, untap, hit Ezra for like 4, and then the next round you're looking to like kill Ezra, hit Rose to half, untap, kill Rose. So it's, you could easily have like round 3s where you went and killed them, but at the same time they can vandalize your upgrade. So it's not nearly as easy as you would want it to be. Depending on their speed, that can like not be that great, because a vandalize for them would probably slow them down a bit. They'd have to have the resource available. They would have to have their guy already activated, eat those dice. So if you're going pretty fast with it, you can get in and get out real quick. So we'll definitely see if that speculation works or not. People may just not want to play Rainbow Vehicles. It's a relatively slow deck, so people could prey upon you by playing slower themselves and going to time. And because it's a slower deck like that, it's a larger drain on the psyche throughout the rounds. So, but the expectation is that we're going to see a lot of Rainbow Vehicle, Poe Hondo, and most likely Kylo Towson. But Kylo Towson could see a drop if both of those decks are very good against it, just because the resourcing is very hard for Kylo Towson, and if Rainbow 5, if Ayla Vehicles, it's also Rainbow 5, is running vandalizes, then Kylo Towson could have a problem, because like your Chance Cube and Holocrons can just get vandalized for the 1 resource, as well as if you sneak in a 2 or 3 drop upgrade, they could more easily just take that off the table and ruin your whole round. So Kylo's ability is not amazing there. It's probably like 40% max to hit any of the available options. I'm trying to think, just because like your yellow would be like easy pickings and vandalize, and then maybe stuff like friends in low places. So let's say that's 4 to 6. Your blue would be like cautions and ETA 2s, so that's another 4. You would have some great cards from Airspeeder and M-Hawk, and whether you ran like Into the Garbage Chute or nothing, so that's like another 4. So we're already looking at like 14 there. So even if all the rest of the cards were red, then like, that's still only like 50-50. So there's a bunch of different options though. The vehicle suite is pretty good there, and you really just don't know who to go for sometimes. It's going to be interesting because a lot of people might try to focus, let's say, the wrong guy down. As you learn the deck and how to play against it, things will be a bit harder on them. But at the beginning, I could see where people just are targeting necessarily the wrong guy, make it easier to get through the rounds. But we'll kind of see where that goes. You think? I can't think of anything else that's like very well suited for the current meta. The vehicle deck, like I said, very, very good. I expected to see more Zeb Yoda, but apparently there's some issue that more people are having that I'm just not very aware of. So it could be like in the deck build wise, stuff being too expensive, too cheap, yada yada. Because Pohondo can be an issue if you're playing with a deck that's too expensive, and if you have too few dice, then Ayla vehicles can just kind of control that one. Let's say they controlled one die around, because they have access to like flank and pin down, easy pickings. They could vandalize your dice. All those things add up to decreasing your damage output, and without being like a huge drawback to them, because Rose feeds their resource money mongering. But alright, that's all for today, I believe. One more second, let's just do a last minute check. I got some time. I guess we'll talk about Sabine Yoda a bit. I haven't seen the deck list, but it seems very interesting from a standpoint of Sabine is a monster. Sabine is very hard to play against with any of the moderately speeded decks. So like Rainbow Vehicles might be okay there, I think, but Rainbow Vehicles is so slow that any sort of like crazy resource choke, crazy output damage, like they won't be able to stop it in time because they don't have enough speed. So like you could attempt to roll out and try to vandalize one of her upgrades, but she'll probably have rolled out, got whatever, and resolved prior to you even getting to that stage. So she could go and take out your character before you have access to it. But Sabine in general would finish her round relatively quick, so a more abusive battlefield would be beneficial to her. And then just the large amount of health may take time to punch through. So on her side, they're looking at like 21 health with Yoda. I heard that there was a Sabine Rebel Trooper that was also doing very well. That one only has 19 health. So indirect there adds up quite a bit, but the dilemma still folds where if your indirect's going onto the sub character, that doesn't almost matter, and then she gets to like just plow through your guys, then stick a second chance. It's gonna be world of hurt. But not sure how great that deck would be. Like the fact of the matter is that like they have access to Force Illusion, so Force Illusion can block like 3 or 4 while trying to help set up the discard pile for her. But there's enough money options right now where you get access to you can more easily hyperspace jump and never tell me the odds. So against like Rainbow Vehicles, hyperspace jump is like a complete beating because you're gonna get to do whatever you want and then end the round. So like you have to be aware of, be capable of playing against it. So we'll see if Sabine makes a bigger splash this next week as well. Like you're for anyone that's like seeing these decks and they're wondering, well, like how did these people come up with stuff around the same time? Like two people won with Rainbow Vehicles, and you may not even seen Rainbow Vehicles before. There's a lot of stuff played on online in the Discord TTS. So there's pretty much a how would I explain this? There's gonna be stuff that you're just not aware of, like the new decks in town and different things like that. So like Rainbow Vehicles has probably been played for quite a while by several people. If you go back to the Blizzard stream I did the beginning of January / the end of December, the 3 decks I was playing around with were the Rainbow, at that one I think I had Rookie Pilot instead of Ezra. I switched it later because of Republic Cruiser and the special on it. But so like there was that vehicle deck. I played that vehicle deck, and then I played 7th OTK, and then I played Jabba Tarkin. But the Jabba Tarkin was just slow and not very good, so I never played that like again since. But so you should see lots of stuff coming about, just because people will play things online and get lots of testing in, and you just probably won't have heard about it. So there should be some more uprising soon with some of the other decks that are playing out pretty good. But yeah, now that's pretty much it. I'm sarcastic with the Hyperloops with your regional meta update. Oh, I don't know what to call this stuff. I'm bad with names, man. All right, well, you guys have a great one. And Hyperloop out. Deuces.